Just talk loud,
Okay, so
project.
I guess, yeah, you naturally project. For me, it takes effort.
Same.
Are you recording?
Really?
Yes.
Nice. So I guess the episode already started. I naturally project.
Yeah.
It is true. Friends will tell me a lot of times.
You're always so loud. You're like, no, I'm not.
I know. Friends will actually tell me, they're like, yeah, because my voice does automatically. And I think it is like a learned thing.
And you just do it out of habit.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I think we're recording, right?
Yes.
So what's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 92 today with Jared James. We are shooting in a new spot. We actually, in our new offices, we were going to shoot in the actual podcast area, but that's not ready today. So we're just doing it out of just a regular office. So there is a real chance of your mic falling over at some point, my mic falling over. It's all a brittle operation that could fall apart.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. So
figure it out.
I'm joined, as I've been lately, by Miss Linda Yacoub. What's up, babe?
I know. Love you.
Love you too. Joined by Linda Yacoub and producer.
You can't always forget.
Do you have a mic on?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Yay. Yeah.
Oh, yay. So today's gonna be an interesting podcast. So a lot of you that listen all the time, it's been a couple weeks since we've shot a podcast, and there's a lot of different reasons for that, but there's been a ton of stuff going on in the background that we're going to talk about. The last episode we talked about sales skills, because the next advance, Jared James Advance, October 23rd, 24th. Get your tickets, jaredjamestoday.com/advance. Had to get that in there. By the way, Tom, I've noticed these podcasts I'm watching, we need to start putting breaks throughout the podcast with a video of me promoting something that we want to promote, whether it's a paid advertiser we want to get, or whether it's talking about the advance or whatever it is. You guys are all being a part of this happening right now.
Great.
We need to start doing that. But the other thing we talked about was, you talked about, I think we called it like going through hell or like whatever it was. And there has been, literally it's been 2-3 weeks, but there's been so many, it's been longer than that.
Yeah.
So many things that have come up in the last however long it's been here that we're going to talk a little bit about today. We're going to be very genuine about some stuff. We're going to let you guys know about some behind the scenes stuff. We're going to talk full-bred entrepreneur stuff, like, the reality of being an entrepreneur and behind the scenes and what's been going on and all of that kind of stuff, which I'm really excited about. And you're going to tell.
It's fun. I think I'm actually mentally ready now versus a while ago, it was just, I'm not sure if I'm ready. Mixed emotions.
Well, let's just get right into it. Let's get into it. So, Linda, you are no longer the CEO of Listing Alert. We have said over and over again, Miss Linda Yacoub, the CEO of Listing Alert, and we did that whole thing. And the truth is, you're still a CEO, but you're not the CEO of Listing Alert, and it's by no means of your own. And so, why don't you just kind of tell people what's gone down the last few months at the amazing meeting you had on, what was it, Memorial Day?
So for those that are just like tuning in and didn't know I was a CEO of a company called Listing Alert. Listing Alert was just as a real estate product. And I mean, it served really well. I ran it for about 4 years, almost 4 years.
That's crazy.
And time flies, maybe 3.5, almost 4 years.
Get better with age, babe.
I mean, thank you. But honestly, it was a company that I ran. I had this much equity in it, 0, just ran it.
But you were supposed to eventually have equity. It's coming. And it just never, it just didn't.
But it was a true startup. It was startup world. So and startup world is not meant for everyone because there's a lot of moving parts. People are wearing multiple hats and whatever. And so, but I loved the concept. I loved what it was about. I loved the founder herself, Sandra Wilkinson, who's a great friend of mine, who founded the product, top producing agent, managing broker.
Yep.
And asked me to run the company. I said, sure, why not? Did it. The caveat is the company was funded with a parent company.
Yep.
Which was what they would call a portfolio of companies. And so,
which we will get into on here as well.
So which really means I have no autonomy in the company. I run it. I have funding to run it, but I still have a boss, which is a CEO of.
You were the boss of that company. You're the CEO of that, but then the portfolio of companies, your parent company, you basically reported to the CEO of that parent company.
Totally.
Okay. But we keep talking in the past tense so far on this podcast. So
now, I mean, Memorial Day happened real quick. I got a call and said, hey, right. And it said, hey, jump on a meeting, 8:30 p.m. Okay. Then this parent company had like 900 employees. What were you doing
serious.
on Memorial Day?
It's Memorial Day midday. You get this. Let's be honest for a second. Half the people are probably at a picnic blasted. Am I right? Memorial Day? Come on. People are
just so you know,
multiple six packs
what
in.
You guys all say on the East Coast. We call it barbecue on the West Coast. So those that are listening, it's not picnic baskets and
there are those that also think those words would be broken down through racial lines as well. It's very true. My black friends call their, even here they call it barbecue, not picnic.
Okay, so when you say picnic, I'm thinking like a cute little Red Robin Hood walking through the forest, and she has a picnic basket. Picnic.
So when we were planning the company picnic, you were like,
company barbecue?
Cute? So nice.
One time, Jared, like there was some kind of event, like I mean a holiday, and Jared's like, "You're gonna have a picnic?" I'm like thinking, "We're not going to the park, and we're not gonna have like my kids will be there." I'm like, sure. No, but anyway, but literally Memorial Day, 8:00. This guy was asleep because I text you. And I mean, granted, you should be asleep on the East Coast. I'm West Coast.
I'm generally not. Let's be honest for a second. Usually you're texting me at midnight, your time, 3 a.m. And I'm like, hey, whatever. Like,
one of the CEOs, there was multiple CEOs. One of them said, okay, emergency company meeting, 8:30. The next one responded
900 plus employees.
The next one responded voluntarily. You couldn't force it. Well, when he corrected that, I was like, oh, something's going on. If you can't force a company meeting, something's going on. And I'm thinking, well, it's a holiday. Maybe that's why, because they're not going to pay.
Wanted to say happy Memorial Day.
Anyways, we get on this meeting.
It's good we can laugh about it now.
And I still have it recorded for like memory's sake. I just have it.
It's crazy.
And they even said it's not going to be recorded in the email. They said that. And so I recorded it. And it was less than 5 minutes. And it was like we had an emergency board meeting. And I'm sorry to tell you, we are furloughing the company 100%. And it's
every employee 900 plus, you're furloughed, which is essentially like a layoff, but it's not a layoff. But basically, everybody, you don't have a job anymore. Yeah. Everyone, all of your companies, portfolios, whatever, you have clients, you have whatever. Sorry, don't service them, don't whatever. Everything is done.
So this parent company had several companies that they supported. Yeah. And so my team, although as a CEO of a company, my team was fully funded and salaried by this parent company. So that means
most of those Memorial Day partiers probably thought that their drinks were laced with something at this point. They're like, am I on psychedelics? Did this just happen?
It was like 300, maybe 400 people actually that logged in around there. So the other ones actually found out the next day when they were sober.
I'm sure it spread like wildfire once.
It totally did. And so I got that call. I was on it. And I mean, there was no apology. There was no reason. It was just furloughed, no work.
Yeah.
They told us no work.
Yeah.
And that was it. I text you right away.
I remember waking up to that and going, huh? But by the way, I was, just to backtrack, if this is possible, I was shocked, but not shocked. Right? Because her and I were having conversations beforehand and like things were like not adding up. We're like, what's going on here? Like, what's going on? And then you showed me an interview with one of the CEOs, and I don't want to get too detailed or name names because I just don't think there's any win in that. But you showed me an interview with one of the CEOs, and I literally said to you, I'm like, babe, he's lying. And you're like, what? No, and you were defending because you needed to like, this is what do you mean? No, that's not whatever. That's, because at that point it's not possible. Like this has to be whatever. And I'm going, he's lying. Like he's absolutely, something's going on here. He's whatever. So when you sent me that text, like, it's like, again, if there's a way to be one thing, but not another, I was shocked, but not shocked. I was shocked because I'm like 900 plus employees overnight after having hundreds of millions of dollars in funding. I'm thinking about the grasp of it all, like the pure scale of it all. I'm like, my God.
And this company isn't a small company.
Think about if I shut this company down, it would rock, whatever.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. But like now we're talking about 900 plus.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time,
across the nation,
I was not shocked. I was like, that adds up. That adds up.
So I text him. It took him a while to respond, but immediately, I am bombarded with my staff. They're calling me asking, number one, did you know about this? Number two, what does this mean? What am I going to do? I had people that were on visas.
And this is when you were on our last podcast, when we talked about going through hell or whatever, and you wouldn't really go into details. You're like, sometimes whatever. This is what happened, folks. And your concern was not, this is what I love about you, but also like you needed an outlet. But like your initial concern was not for yourself. You were just like, you figured I got that. I'm gonna figure this out. Or you didn't even think about that, but you were immediately about your people.
Like,
you were just like, oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, talk about getting something pulled from underneath you. And you really have you have no clue. You're just as in the dark as them.
Yeah.
I mean, my heart broke when I had a gentleman that had a visa. He's here on a visa. That same week, his wife was overdue on delivering baby. And so 2 days later, she had a scheduled cesarean. And I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, you don't have benefits.
Insurance went away.
As of June 1st, your benefits are going to be gone.
And he had to have a job to stay in the country.
Yeah. And then so then you dig deep into it, and he has to have a paycheck that hit his account, the latest paycheck that hit. Well, unfortunately, his parent company, they had no money to operate the company. So checks were being bounced. So then banks were pulling checks back. And so his 60-day window went down to 30 days. Talk about a good weight loss plan.
He's like, am I about to get a bill for, am my family about to get sent back to, and I don't want to say where, but like whatever. I mean, he's freaking like
and then his baby was born, June 1st.
And again, he did nothing wrong.
It was crazy.
Nothing. Yeah. It always reminds me, my father was the director of security for NASDAQ for the world. Right. And I would literally go into his office back in like the Bush administration, and he would have Tom Ridge sitting in his office, who was the Homeland Security director at the time. And this is like at the times of terrorism. And like I would walk in and be like, I don't even want to know what you guys are talking about. Like, I'm assuming this isn't where should we get lunch, And my father used to always tell me, this is back when I first kind of was doing my thing, and I was selling, and I was starting some companies, and I was very entrepreneurial, but I was working for myself, but I was still kind of finding my way. This is years ago. And we're always all kind of finding our way on some level, right?
Yeah.
That's the secret sauce. But it's so funny because I just heard the CEO of Chick-fil-A, his badge says trainee in training. And I loved that. But anyway, so he says to me, he goes, Jared, and it was right after he had just gotten a bunch of new stock options, and he had a great salary, and he had, all these different things. And he goes, Jared, he goes, you're doing it right. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, you think I got this? I got a big salary. I got because he got his job being the director over the world, because there were a bunch of different people like him all over the world who ran different posts, different areas. And what they did was they eliminated every single one of them, and then made him the top over everything. So he was lucky enough to not be one of the ones eliminated. They just took him and made him do everything.
Yeah.
And he goes, Jared, you're doing it right. And this always stuck with me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, you got a great job. You got stock options. You got what? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, Jared, they can get rid of me tomorrow.
Well, they're replaceable. Everyone's replaceable.
He goes, just like all the people that created my job, he goes, they can get rid of me tomorrow. And he goes, nobody can get rid of you. He goes, the only way you don't move on, the only way is if you fail. Like, that's it. Like, whatever, and there's huge risk that comes with that. And there's huge, but from his perspective, because he was like an entrepreneurial mind who, when he was younger, entrepreneur wasn't really pushed. So here he was in this place of being this director, being this whatever, but his mind was different. And it was like he was trapped. Like, here's where I am now. And now because they keep giving me stock options,
like you're flexing right now, huh?
Hey, whatever movement, whatever move. Kidding me? That wasn't even, are you kidding me? And so here he finds himself in this place, and having an entrepreneurial mind, having whatever. And he's just like, but I never feel safe. I never feel, whatever. He's like,
I mean, not to completely go off. Sometimes that's actually a good driver for you to push harder, work harder. Because I always say that, like, people complain about the busyness, or like, I mean, when I was managing or running exec as an MLS, all the calls that we would get in, I mean, some dumb ones that we would get, how to log in or do this or that MLS. And it's like, hey, that's job security.
Yeah.
Call it job security. That's why you're here.
By the way, don't we see that everywhere? Like, when people are always justifying their job, like, more people than are needed, because I do this and But
I mean, we as quickly as they fire us, they could hire somebody else.
Yeah.
But like,
Well, not for nothing. I always say, Tom, this, this is going to sound cold, but I say it all the time. Like, there are people we hire that are completely replaceable. They are boop, boop. And, I'll say this to you. I'm just like, replaceable. Tell them thank you for your service, move on, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we've got our people that are A players. And I'm like, Tom, we don't let them go. Like we need to do what we need to do. We don't let them, they will do the job of 3 or 4 people, and what they do for the culture. And that's it. Right. Mm-hmm. But from the perspective of overall, yeah, on some level, yeah, everybody's replaceable on some level. But anyway, so this happens, this goes down. Yeah, it's a major whatever.
There was a lot of, I can't even say fires to put out because I had no control of putting out anything. It was just being there for a lot of people. And you kept on saying, have you processed this yet?
Yeah.
Have you processed it? And I'm like, no.
I could tell you.
And, and I didn't. And it took me, I don't even know when it was, but maybe almost 2 weeks.
Well, you did a meeting with our team.
I did a meeting with the team.
You got emotional.
I spoke with board of directors for the other company, tried to save list. I literally tried to save Listing Alert. I begged them to, because not for me. I knew that I wasn't going to get paid. It was not for me. It was for the sake of the clients. I mean, and
yeah, you had clients using Loving,
thousands of people using the platform.
And we'll get to that, but
so after that, and I used my I literally had to raise the white flag and I was done. I was done. But I had a meeting at your house.
Yep.
But before that,
I was gonna say we got some other stuff that happened before that. Yeah,
a lot. I had, although my character is unlike my parent company, unfortunately, is to reach out to my clients, let them know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I did that with you because you were the board of directors for the company.
Yeah, I was on the board. Yeah.
And we reached out to our first client, one of my first clients.
Yeah.
And I was very much like this. I had an agenda. Everything was good.
Yeah, I remember this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they had to ask.
That was your first real reaction.
Yeah.
You were got it, get it, got it, good. Like you were whatever. And then, one of our clients that we reached out to that, it's just the natural of what happens, right? Like we just got off a call with one of my largest clients. And I'm on there making jokes with him that will make sure that I can never run for office, right? Or maybe I can. But they become friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they start as clients, but like our friends are in this industry, like our friends, right?
We say it's a relational interest.
Yes.
It's relational.
Yes. But you mean it though. It's not fake. Like we're not one of those vendors fake. Like if I don't like you, I'm just going to be nice and move on, whatever. Like if I'm joking with you and doing whatever, like we have legitimate friends. So these friends get on there. Their initial reaction is not, also, our people are using this and whatever. And they say to you, what did they say?
They literally said, well, how are you doing? How are you doing mentally, financially? Like they personally asked Linda, and I've never really had that outside of Jared, right? Jared and I, he'll always, but no one's really been like, how are you? Like, I don't even care about this parent company. We have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
We knew Listing
Alert. They don't know anything about them.
Know who they are. How are you doing though?
Yeah.
And I broke down.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
And it was I'm a single mom of 2 little children.
We aborted the call. I said, get it together, woman.
No.
What are you doing right now?
No. He did take over the call though after that.
Oh, you got quiet. Yeah.
So you think of that and you think of what's next steps look like. I don't know. I just moved into a house. You guys know that.
So here's the point. You're so independent. Like
I am.
She's independent to a fault. Like you don't like help, right? So like it all goes down and I'm thinking about her and you won't like, you're not processing, you're not whatever. And I'm going, babe, I'm like, don't worry. I'm like, I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. You're good. Like, let's just, and you're just like, no,
it's crazy. Like those are words, which are great because I need words. But at the same day, it's like, no, like I have been working since I've been 17 and very
you're like, I don't need you to help me. I don't need you to whatever. Like I'm this is what I do. Like I'm,
very independent, always been the breadwinner. Like I've been able to like support the kids and the family at the time. But so this was very difficult. And then I think that moment, correct me if I'm wrong, that moment was like
with our clients you're talking about?
I think more so like you and I, because you saw the passion behind like what I wanted. And I think at that moment, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you said, or maybe not, like, why not?
Oh, well, we didn't even bring that up yet. So before that happens, when it all goes down, one of your founders says to you, can you get Jared involved? Right?
Yeah.
They said, can you get Jared involved? And here I am, I'm looking at it and I'm like, can you get Jared involved? And you say it to me and I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, I'm like, I got pull, but I can't tell this
Meaning-
company to
meaning,
continue
like,
to.
like, could you just buy, because someone buy listing alert?
Well, this is my point. Is like
That's
when
what
you
it was.
first when they first said it to you, I was looking at it going, "What do you mean can get me involved?" I'm like, I got some pull, but I'm not going to be able to go to your parent company and say, "Hey, make the rights, the wrongs right, and
Like,
keep
who are
moving
you?
forward." Yeah, I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But what they meant was the concept of what you guys were doing was amazing for brokerages, right? Like, I mean, you're digitizing the whiteboard, and we'll get into that, right? And so you kind of threw it out to me, and like I tend to do, and you tend to do as well. I kind of looked at it, and look, I got a lot of things going on, so I was just like, "Babe, you're fine. I'm gonna take care of you. We're gonna, whatever." But I was just like, I don't even know what you're talking about, and I just kind of brushed it off. I was just like, ah. And then I went, and actually, I think I thought about it all night long, and I started processing.
Well, remember, I don't know if you guys follow. I mean, a lot of you guys don't follow me, which is fine.
Well, that's not true at all anymore. Your Instagram says different. Your Instagram says different.
But there was a message you sent to me overnight.
Mhm.
I was asleep. You sent it to me, and he said, "I hope this doesn't wake you up." You dropped the boys off, and it was super sweet. And I reposted it. It was about like, things happen for a reason. This is a testimony of yours, right? And that was the day that we had a conversation, and it was the why not.
In essence, I said to you, everybody wants a testimony, but nobody wants to go through anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, you're built for this. And I said, the only way that your gifts are going to come out is when you're in this situation, right? This is what's going to force you to be who it is that you're actually called to be. And I had spent most of the night thinking about, before we even get there, let's just back up a second. So everybody knows who listens to this. A lot of you who listen to this or watch this or follow me, you do that from a speaker. I'm a speaker. I'm a real estate coach, real estate trainer, that whole thing, which is my primary. There's no doubt about it. But I am purebred entrepreneur. Like, I have a portfolio of companies, right? Just like your parent company has the portfolio of companies. I have a portfolio of companies, right? Which is now, I don't know, is it 6 companies now or 7 companies? I'm not sure of the exact with the new things that have happened. But I really believe when I'm talking to agents and brokers and I'm talking about how real estate is an opportunity for you to flex your entrepreneurial muscles, just like when I sold real estate, I didn't just sell real estate. That wasn't my only form of money, was commissions. I was leveraging it for so much more. And I do the same thing right now. And so I started looking at it, and I'm like, well, wait a second now. There was a time I built a CRM, which is massive from a technological standpoint. Like Tom will tell you, like, holy crap. Your product, and the beauty of it was how simple it was. And it was digitizing the whiteboard, so in the old days when people would come in and there's a time frame between when you sign with a seller for a listing and at time that actually hits the MLS, that time in between in many places, because of clear cooperation and everything else, you can't market to the overall market, but you can market within your brokerage. And it used to be that agents would come in, they'd see the whiteboard, and you would see what was coming on within your brokerage, and it gave your buyers an ultimate advantage, and it gave your sellers an ultimate advantage. And the problem is that doesn't exist as much anymore because people aren't going into the office and seeing that. So your company digitized that and said, hey, we can do it on an app. Very simple. Listings go in, everybody in the brokerage is notified of what's going on, buyer matching.
Did it in a very, very compliant way where we stayed in the guidelines of NAR.
Yeah.
And, and really the whole purpose of it is to foster that, right? We talk about that, like curating a culture that's based on communication.
Yeah. So anyway, my point was that I thought about it like all night long. Like I'm talking all the way down to what it would look like, how much time would it require from me, how much money would it require, how much,
what resources would
like what would this, what does it mean for you and I? Talk about that. And I just played it all through my head, and I played pros, cons, the whole thing. And then I woke up and I went, we can do this. We can put this under the portfolio of the companies whereby, I get involved when I need to, like with clients or onboarding if I need to. But the truth is I keep doing what I'm doing my speaking, doing my training, doing my coaching, doing that stuff. You were already showing an amazing ability to be the CEO of that company. It just needed you to do what you're already doing. Like you were killing it. Like go back to killing it.
Yeah.
And with the simplicity of the product, you know, it could be built even better in a short amount of time.
So yeah, you brought it back up to me as conversation. Yep. Now, prior to that,
so I sent you that message.
Well, actually, it was after. No, you continue then. So you sent me the message.
So I sent you the message, and then we end up talking, and I'm like I think we should do this. I think we should. And I just want to be clear for everybody for a second, because a lot of you out there would be like, you know, you're going to go into business, you're going to fund a company, and then have, you know, your girlfriend run the company. Well, what if you break up? And I know you even hate, like, you're always like, don't even say that, you know.
He always like, what if? Like, why do we do that?
Well, you got to what ifs, right? So that's a reality, though. Look, we have no intention of ever breaking up, right? But people don't have intentions of getting into car accidents. That's why they're called accidents, you know? And so my head has to go there, has to go, well, what if? And for most people, that would keep you from doing business with somebody that you're in a relationship with, right? And then I thought about it, and this is like so weird. But I mean,
let's be real. I mean, I think a lot of your great friends who are entrepreneurs, built and small business have the same concerns.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure my friends were like, what the heck? Like, is that smart? Jared, what are you doing? Whatever. And here's what it came down to for me, everybody. And this is about as honest and transparent as you can be. I saw you go through a divorce. And you learn a lot about someone when you see them go through a divorce. Because for anybody who's out there, a divorce, break, whatever it is, you've got people who go through that situation and they get crazy. You see the side that they go to. And then you get people who, when they go through that situation, they tend to buckle down a little bit, and they get logical, and they give more than they should, and they try to keep peace, and they're practical, and all of these things that happen. And so for me, I watched you go through divorce, and I just kind of like, she's very, like, she was that. She's not crazy. She's not whatever. And as sad as this is to say, in my head, I had to say to myself, we're not breaking up. But if we did, does that screw all of this up? And I hate to say, but it doesn't. Like, you would just keep running the company, and it would be like you'd be a great practitioner. You're a great CEO. You're a great, whatever. And so I had to go there in my head. I had to actually feel that and say, I see how she handles change. I see how she handles breakup.
That goes both ways. Like, I mean, and a lot of people could probably resonate to this, like, especially if you're, in real estate on a team, husband, wife, like, do we want to do it? Are we able to have a balance or boundaries on how much work talk at the dinner table or, at the house or at the restaurant versus like, no, let's just date.
Yeah.
Can we just date?
Yeah.
That is very hard in any relationship,
it is.
Anything. And so I thought about that too. It's like, is it always going to be business?
Right.
Because I don't want that.
And by the way, that's something we're probably always going to have to put parameters around. But I do think that we're both people who kind of weirdly enjoy.
We do.
Yeah. Like, I think we like the climb and I enjoy that. Right. Like, I know you love, like, I'm dating my business partner. Like, you'll say to me, you're like my business partner when you'll see me, whatever. Yeah. And it's just funny, but it's true. So anyway, so that goes down, and we go, okay, well, maybe what we do is we're going to let all the clients know what's going on, but we're also going to let them know, because there were advantages to this. This can be rebuilt very quickly, but it's going to be rebuilt better. Because when the original product was built, it was built on a platform, not understanding scale or these other things. And they learned a lot of pitfalls that they made mistakes on and would have done differently. Yeah. And now they were able to come to us and go, do this differently. Yeah. Like, here's how you scale this.
So coming from compliance and MLS, it was always sticky. Like, although, okay, I'm furloughed, but I'm furloughed. We're not fired or laid off. We're furloughed. So it's like, how much could I tell a client and still try to stay in the lines of like, oh, okay, I'm furloughed, but still under this parent company, right? Yeah. And so when I was speaking to clients, I wasn't speaking on behalf of the company that we started together. I was speaking on behalf of the CEO of Listing Alert, generally concerned about what's happening.
Yep.
And that was my first. And until the company filed for bankruptcy. And also effectively got rid of you guys. Yes.
Like they had formally said, good day.
Mm-hmm.
Good day, everyone.
Absolutely. Is when I was able to now reach out to those.
And
past
screwed
clients.
everybody.
I mean,
Check's not paid. You were still owed a ton of money, whatever. And they're just like, a good day.
It's about, you guys, it will be a Netflix series.
Yeah, we're not going to go into detail on this.
I'm not going to say any names.
Yeah.
But it'll be a Netflix series. And I mean, it's crazy. But
it would turn into opportunity though.
Talk about a silver lining to everything.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, so we haven't mentioned the company's name yet.
It's First Up.
It's called First Up.
FYRST, which I was shocked was available because it's first up opportunity for your buyers and sellers. Yeah. First up, like in a compliant manner. So we call it First Up, FYRST.
And I mean, you know, I have to say, like,
Linda is the CEO. She will continue to do what she does. She's the face of the company.
It's amazing. It's phenomenal. I actually was given other opportunities to build the same company.
Yep.
With other individuals. And I did say thanks, but no thanks. Definitely flattered.
Well, you could have had a lot of opportunities. Like there were so many things that came through where you could have been making big bucks and doing this and doing whatever. And again, it just goes back to like that, the core of an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. You're like, no, I don't want to just be that hired gun anymore. I want to own a piece and I want to go build.
Well, I want autonomy.
Yeah.
You know,
that was a big thing you kept telling brokers.
I kept on saying over and over again. And even when people ask me, Linda, we could go to this company, we could scale and build it. Linda, we could do the same exact thing. Linda, if anything, that just affirmed that this is a great idea. Yeah, we need it.
Yeah.
But what I've learned, was like, you know, I need a partner. I've had a VC. Yeah. I've had an investor. Yeah. I've had a massive board of directors. I need a partner that's going to do this with me. Not actually like needs to be the face with me, right? But like I need someone that's going to be my sounding board, right? To direct me and guide me. And so, I mean, that's why I know you and trust you so much that I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, we could do it. You and I could have intense conversations. I know we could walk out and we still love each other. Yeah, it's not we have nothing against each other. So I needed that. Yeah. And so we definitely made the decision. I knew it was going to be like all over again. Like it's exhausting. Startup is exhausting. Yeah, it really is.
But it's honestly, it's funny though when you say startup, because here's the thing, guys. It's funny because we've already
just now.
What's that?
We just talked about what you're.
So we've already had meetings with, and we're signing on people that are like literally juggernauts, guys. Like if you guys understood, from brokerages to brands to countries to these kinds of things, and it's such an interesting thing because a lot of times people have trepidation because it's a startup, but it's not a traditional startup. You had 4 years of millions of dollars invested into building this. So when we came back around and we said, hey, we're going to build this, we're going to do a little bit better. We already knew the pitfalls. We already knew what it needed to do, what it didn't need to do, where it needs to go. And it was just like, let's build it. It's not difficult like a CRM or something that's going to take years to build or something. And so it's weird because on one hand, from a timeline perspective, it's a startup, but from the perspective of where we're starting and like knowing what we already know and just get to it type of thing, it's not like a startup.
Yeah, it's like what I said on the call that we were just on. What we did for 4 years was a proof of concept.
Yeah, that was a great, by the way, I loved it when you said that.
Now
that was a great,
actually implementing the product.
Oh, by the way, guys, if anybody's in a relationship and they ever just need a little zeal for their partner, just get into a business meeting with them when they go into like business mode and they're talking it up and whatever. We just had a meeting. I won't name any names, but we just had a meeting with one of the largest brokerages in the world, who I'd mentioned to them about. I wasn't trying to sell the product. I was just there for something, and they were like, "You need to get me on a demo with her." When I told them what the product did, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not trying to sell you right now." They're like, "No, I know. Can you get me on a demo?" Because I told them what it did from a brokerage perspective, and I'm like, "Great." So we get on that demo a couple of hours ago or whatever, and I'm first off listening to this broker describe what they need within their brokerage, and I'm hearing her describe what it does, and I'm hearing her go down her resume. And I was at Apple Corporate, and then I ran an MLS, and I was a VP at Berkshire Hathaway, and then I came over and ran whatever, and I'm there like, oh goodness, Oh,
I don't think you ever actually heard me
giving me all the feels. Oh, you went into business mode, and I'm listening to you. It feels weird to say sell because you weren't selling, although you're always selling, right? That's people are always, but you weren't like selling like you were, out on a car lot going. So what price range?
You've been demoing the product.
No, but you're just talking, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, if I was on the other side, like sold, you know what I mean? I'm like, got it, need it. How do I not let my competitors have this? Where is it? And then the broker responds, and he's just like, this is exactly what we've needed ever since people stopped coming in the office all the time, not only from the perspective of, being compliant, having being able to market the properties, double end deals, but a communication platform where agents are connected again, and you know what's going on, and he's like, we've tried Facebook groups, we've tried group threads on chat, and like
this tool is, yes, for the end user, it's amazing. I don't even know where to begin. The end user, for agents and teams, phenomenal to communicate. For brokers, outstanding.
Oh, it's a no-brainer.
For retention, for an attraction, like to retain talent.
So sticky. Nobody wants to leave once you're using this.
For a client, I mean, they're spending less money on marketing. The property is not, and every single user that this product touches, like, has an amazing benefit.
Come on, you're dealing with buyers, they get access to proprietary list of sellers that they never would have had. Sellers getting all that visibility and potential before.
Interesting.
Broker. I mean, it's just, so anyway, so my point was, I'm not doing a demo right now of the product. I'm just saying, like, all that's going on.
Yeah.
And I believe in you. I believe in the product. I believe in all of that. But I've never gotten super deep into it. There was a proof of concept. So I was like, yeah, it works. Yeah, we could do this. It's an investment. It's a whatever. But when I sat on that call and you kind of took over and did your thing, not only am I going, that's my lady, but on the other hand, I'm saying to myself, I'm going and I'm watching the reaction of the broker, and I'm watching what the broker is saying, and I'm whatever. And this is one of the largest, like the person knows the business, and I'm going, dang, I think I underestimated this thing. Like, we need to get this out in front of every freaking broker in the world. Like, this is so simple, but it's been missing since everybody started doing business outside of the office, right? And so it's just such a belief, such a whatever, and I'm watching you, and I'm this whole thing, and I'm just like, this is so cool. And again, to everybody watching, I'm still doing my thing. We got the advance going, guys. We are coaching 101. Like, we're the whole whatever. I'm not the face of this thing. I'm the investor. I'm just, you're doing, but it is cool to have it in the portfolio, because I'm just like, dang, that's a winner right there.
It's fun. You know what I've learned, and I was mentioning to you briefly on this. Obviously, this is just the beginning of First Step.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited with where it's going. But
there'll be a version second up.
Yeah.
Third up.
Going back to Memorial Day to where we're at now, there was a mentor of mine, which I shared with you, like, the thing that she said is, like, Linda, you could be a machine gun and you can make a lot of noise out there, right? Or you could be a sniper and be extremely deadly. Stay focused and you'll be on point every time. And when I was distracted, you saw that.
I love that.
And you told me that. And then until, like, I have to say that you kind of brought me in, like, hey, and it was that text message, which I screenshot and saved. But like, that was, let's stay focused and, like, use your weapon as a deadly point. Okay. Yeah. And that is, like, staying on guard and focusing on moving forward, because we can't change anything behind us. How does that look?
Yeah.
For your family, for us, and for your career.
Yeah.
And it's been super fun. And then just to see everyone's response when we announced First Up quietly, very quietly, everybody was, in support.
Yeah.
When can we sign up?
Yeah.
Keep us in touch. One specifically, I don't know, we can't really mention this much right now, but ask, like, how does it look for you to hand off a company to you? And so, like, now we're being addressed, and I'm like, at this point, it's amazing to see the silver lining and just blessings kind of come through.
Isn't it funny though? Like really, this is a universal principle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the best things about everybody, when you look at the things that make people the strongest, when you look at just all the things that make people who they are, right? in almost 100% of the cases, or in those situations, the thing that ultimately makes them that thing is the thing that almost 100% of the time they would choose to not have happen in the moment.
Oh, absolutely. But
you know what I mean?
But it's their driver. It's their why.
That's my point. That's my point, is that it becomes the driving force. It becomes the reason why we become who we are. But if you were to backtrack, go to that moment and say, this is what you're about to go through. You can eliminate it though. Think about your children, right? We all want our children to grow up strong and grow up resilient and grow up. Resiliency doesn't come from comfort, or it doesn't come from those things. And so if you were to follow your children and you were to helicopter them and you were to see situations they were about to be in, and almost like, if you remember Adam Sandler, that movie Click, you could fast forward and rewind, whatever, almost on some level, you could go, oh, no, cut that out. Like a video editor. No, cut. Can't do that. No good. Right. Like I won't go into details, but like my son just went through something, right? That just rocked him, and I'm thinking about it. And again, I'm not going to go into detail, but like, and I'm like, oh, that would not happen. That would not. And yet that's going to shape him, from the perspective of like, got it, like that kind of a thing. But we would, when it comes to our children, when it comes to our own lives, we would easily go down the path of our lives. And sure, sometimes we can look back and from a place of maturity go, that was tough, but it made me who I am. Oh, awesome. Yeah. But that's one level. If you were there in the moment and you knew what was about to happen, would you eliminate it? And most people would. And that was the point of the text I was trying to send to you, was to say, baby, you're in it right now. And very successful people are not normal people. They don't react like normal people. They don't register things like normal people. And so this is a moment for you, is what I was trying to say. Like you've got to understand right now that you're in the moment of the storm, you're in the moment of the thing, and you can either eliminate this and get rid of it and choose to, okay, this is great, this is whatever, or you can pull a Nostradamus of some sorts and go, oh, where I'm going. This is part of it. Like this is necessary. And not only, I said, again, one level of maturity is to be able to look back and go, I guess I'd do it again because that was tough, but it made me. The highest level of maturity is to recognize that you're in it at the moment and still choose to go through it, not knowing what the outcome's going to be, but trusting that it's going to be for your benefit, and trusting the talents, the skills, the everything that you have that's going to be able to take that and mold that into, what it needs to be in your venture, in your calling, so to say. Right. And so that was kind of the point of that, was me just looking at you and just kind of getting you to kind of check yourself and say, hey, this is who I am. Like, remember who you are. This is okay. You're not normal. You're different. You need this. Like, this is, you got everything you need.
And I think because by nature, I'm not someone to have like hatred towards a company or ill thoughts or get caught up in the politics of things. I mean, if that was a part of who I was, I think it'd be even harder for me to get up and go. Because I know people that are still so angry about the situation that they're just stuck in the same boat that they were in almost 2 months ago.
Well, it was ticking. It was
getting, I was distracted by everything you could think of: press, past employees, family. I mean, the divorce didn't help at all. Like, going through that and then this happening, my kids, like schooling, summer, like everything, finances, bills. But like, if I was a person of anger, like, which I thank the Lord I'm not. I think I'd have a harder time like pulling out.
You were almost at times like almost too forgiving. Like you would be like, you would talk about them or whatever, and I'd be like, babe, they screwed you, right? But I think, there's that old thing, right? That this is what I think you did really well. Whether you recognized it or not, this is what I think you did well. And this is where I always come from. Like, this is why I always come from the belief that I'm going to be just fine. Right. There's the old saying, right, that your career is what you're paid for, but your calling is what you're made for. Right. So your career is what you're paid for. Your calling is what you're made for. And so for me, when I was looking at you and I was looking at whatever, that's why when it comes, and I've always thought like this, when it comes to money, it comes to whatever, I'm just kind of like, it'll take care of it. It's like, it'll figure itself out. There's like, there's that scripture in the Bible that talks about even the birds, have food to eat, even, whatever you think you're not going to be good. I always kind of have that mentality. And I thought of that when I was watching you, you were in your career. So to me, it was like your cocoon moment, so to say, where it's like, okay, you were in your career, you were paid CEO, right? And that career is what you were paid for. But for me, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, but now she gets a chance to step into her calling, which is what she's made for.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I looked at it.
Totally. Yeah. I remember talking to my dad briefly about it. And my dad's just always a positive person. And he's just like, Linda, your actions will determine your reputation. Actions determine reputation. Your reactions determine your character. And everyone's going to watch how you react to this. He's like, and they're going to watch and see what kind of a person you really are. And when this all happened, I mean, that is one thing I've learned. There's a lot of people that I thought were like this, but they're completely like this instead. And so a huge lesson like that has learned. Very exciting though about First Step, and it's just getting started. And it's fun.
It's exciting.
It's super fun.
It's exciting. There's going to be, more hires. There's going to be, we've got, again, major people we're meeting with. Yeah. That it's interesting because it's one of those deals where I'm like, in my head, like, as you're meeting with these people, I'm thinking, what an opportunity for us. Like, oh my God, how lucky are we? We get these kinds of opportunities. And then there's another side of me that goes, well, how lucky are they as well? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, well, everybody buys all these tools and everything that nobody uses, don't do anything for their brokerage, don't have hardly any ROI, at least they can't determine it or whatever. How lucky are you that you have a simple thing that it's just so simple, but it makes the job easier. Everybody's communicating more. There's more ROI. There's more. It's just like, well, this is, so on one hand, I'm like, yeah, how crazy that everything's led to a place where we can have a little bit of influence. We can get in front of people and we have these awesome opportunities. But at the same time, I'm like, how lucky are they too? That they get to, take part in this. Super fun. I mean, I love it. I love it. Like for me, it's all relationships, whether or not people move forward with it. I mean, I just love you're good with relationships. That was kind of the feeling I got on the call earlier today too. I'm like, whether they end up working together or not, I'm like, they're gonna end up being friends and going to get a drink at an industry event or something like that, because you kind of have that vibe, you know what I mean, where it's just like you come off like Kelly genuine and concert. Kelly nobody knows what that means, but like you kind of give off that vibe though, and I think it's why you connect with people so much though, is because you're always just kind of like you're super smart, you're super all of that, but you have this ability too to just kind of connect and just be fun and be like the friend everybody wants, and that kind of a thing. And I think it's why you have such a good combo. Thank you. Yeah, well, for what you do. Thanks, so I guess that's the exciting news, is that Jared and I are now in business. We're partners, and First Up is what is going to be out there. Yep. And for all of our people out there, guys, we just added to the portfolio. We've got more news coming as well. We got another company we're adding to the portfolio that will be a story for another day. We're not going to do right now. But again, doesn't change my focus. I'm still doing my content and doing, look, I've been home. And you're kind of like figuring out the agenda right now. You're putting the agenda right now. The agenda will be out within a week. For the advanced, the agenda will be out within a week. People have been asking for it, actually. Have they? See, this is what's funny. So like, I feel like on some level I'm so disconnected. So like, there's this thing that comes with delegation, which is awesome, where it's like you just kind of check in on things, you whatever. But I don't see any emails, anything anymore. So I don't know what the deal is. Always so eager about. So we have people asking about the agenda. Oh yeah. Oh, you gave yeah. Let's be real. The agenda will determine sometimes if people will go, depending on speaker, topic. We know one speaker is going to be there, everybody. JJ. Tom. All right, do me a favor. For all of you that will be in Nashville for the advance, just go ask Tom for a picture, please. Oh, so sweet. Because I'm going to hear about it for a year, but I want to hear about it because I love it. It makes he's a good dude, and it makes him very happy. Like everyone 2 years ago was like, hey, I need more Jared on stage. I need more Jared on stage. Okay. Feedback from last year. So the problem was a few years ago, You guys may or may not find this to be true, but I actually don't love attention. Like I really don't. And so we had the Jared James Advance, but I was putting everybody else on the main stage because we had these amazingly talented people, our coaches and otherwise,
They are great.
that were just like, they did something different than me, but they had so much like talent and like content to share and like things that I don't talk about and whatever. And I don't know what it is. I can't even take credit like, oh, I'm a good guy. It's just kind of in my DNA. I'm not threatened by that. I love that. Like I love propping up other people and being like, oh, like, let's go. That's awesome. Let's go. Right. I was joking around the other day. One of my buddies who's a founder of a really large company in our industry who has just stepped away, and that'll be public soon. So I'm not going to mention what it is. But we were talking about it, and he actually said that exact thing because we were talking about how I've taken a break this summer and not done many events and just been home and hanging with you. And now I'm about to hit the road again. But he's like, a lot of people don't realize that about you, because he knows me well. And I'm like, yeah, I love to just kind of like prop up. Right. But we did that a few years ago, and boy, did we hear feedback. People, and I don't blame people because it does have my name on the event. They're like, we came here to come see. So I'm like, all right, I get it. So we switched it up. I did a lot more content. I did a lot more on the stage, and I'm going to do that again this year, especially this year, which is such a transitional, pros market now. I've got so much to share. I just need to figure out how to filter it into a certain number of titled topics on a stage, so I got to figure that part out for an agenda, but I'm going to be doing a lot on the stage. No doubt about it.
Will be released next week.
Yeah.
Everyone
breakouts are still, we're going to be doing 5 breakouts at a time. We'll be doing very specific broker team leader. We're going to be doing very specific agent. We'll be doing, all the topics you want to hear about today, whether it's, AI or whether we'll be talking about ancillary services. How do you add more additional to we'll be talking about we'll be talking about all the normal things, but then we've got some other abnormals that I love. One of the topics that we're talking about doing from the main stage, I was talking to Reagan, was something like, are you actually ADHD? Or do you just have no structure? Like, because agents always tell themselves, well, I just work within my own chaos.
Well, you say that all the time. You say there's 2 different types of busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Well, I always talk about the difference.
Busy running around.
Yeah. You can either, that's exactly right.
Listen.
Look at that.
I tell you all the time.
Run around or run a business, right? Yeah. Busyness, BUSY or business, BUSI.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
A dear friend of ours, Darren, Darren
Dawson.
Yeah,
Double D.
Like every time I listen to Jared, it's like I laugh at a lot of. He's like
nuts.
I feel like he's hilarious, and he'll look at me at the last advance. We're both sitting in the back, Darren Dawson and myself, and I'm laughing at Jared. He's on stage. He's doing a great job. It looks good, everything, and he's not that funny.
Oh,
I was like, yes,
Darren, you hearing this? Okay.
I'm like, I think he's hilarious, but that not even and then actually he said, I said, caught Darren laughing. He's like, shoot, man, that one really was funny.
That was actually
funny.
Yeah.
Say, shoot, he said something else, but like I literally do listen to you. Every time I listen to you, I was telling Jared that when people listen to you,
have a different perspective.
Yeah, but when people listen to you and he talks so fast, so do I, but he talks so fast on stage, they probably only take 10% away from what he's actually saying. I listen to him all the time, and I take away something different every single time. Like, no, but I'm like, I can't even. That's why I know exactly what you said when you said busy. Like, I those are little nuggets, and I actually write them down sometimes.
It's funny.
But
what was the one we did one time? We did one event, I remember, and then we were heading to a flight, and you. It was like the first time you actually, because you were always doing meetings, you're always doing whatever, and you actually sat there, and then you were like, that was actually really good. And you were like, I got these notes. Like, I could actually apply this to my whatever.
My sales team needs to know.
Nothing's better than that. Like, look, I love all of you in the audience, but I'm like, when she says it, I'm like, we're good. But anyway, the point is that, I'm going to be doing a ton of content myself. I'm looking at some changes to the agenda as far as how we do things and when things are. And I'm kind of playing with things right now. That's why I haven't released it yet, because I'm kind of playing around with if there's some changes to how we do the schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
I just want as many people there for both days. And it's tough when you're in Nashville because the second half of day 2, you get people who go to lunch and then they just get drawn in by our old friend Anheuser-Busch or something, and
never seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say though, last year, your guys' attendance for the second half, like you guys had consistent people. Like
it was
attendance.
good. It was good
so
for a conference in Nashville. I personally still would come out and kind of be like, come on, guys, like we can all party tonight. Just spend the day doing what you came here to do. Like, get what you came for. You're not going to look, your buzz isn't going to feel any different at 9 p.m. than it will at 1 p.m. Get what you came for. But anyway, that frustrates me still sometimes. And I have to overlook that and focus on the ones who are in the audience. But that's coming out. To answer your question, I am going to do a lot of my stuff this year, which I'm really excited about. I am getting ready to really kind of hit the road again, which I'm excited about because I've really had a break here. You've
been spoiled,
yeah, by choice, but we always joke around, and this is gonna sound so bad to everybody listening, but I'm like, time to put the cape on. Like I always like, because you have these different lives, right? Where it's like you're your dad, you're a dad, and you play that role. And like the video I posted yesterday of my son yesterday in a game, we have 3 goals, 5 assists, but like he clearly could have had 5 more goals. He kicked it right at the goalie or like kicked it off to the side so you got a video of me. He's like making these moves. Oh, he goes by like 3 kids. Now he's 1-on-1 with the goalie and he gets cute. He's just going to like chip it over to the corner and he misses the goal. And you see me
clearly showing off and he missed
it. Yeah.
And I you see me going that one.
Oh, you got right behind me and I'm like, oh. And then you hear me go, are you freaking kidding me?
I told them, Jared, this video resonates for so many people, like in real estate, like in almost a closed transaction, and a buyer all of a sudden like pulls out.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole entire thing can be like captioned like.
But my point is that so you play that role, and then you play the role of boyfriend, and doing a business partner, and then companies, and then all these different things. And when you're home for a little bit, you kind of forget. I call it like changing to a cape, because I'm like, that's all right. Clark Kent's gone. Got to go hit the road now. You got to go. And I don't mean just from the perspective of being on stage. It's just like it takes a road warrior. Like it wears you down. You need like super strength to make it through. And so we're now getting to the point where it's like just about time to start hitting the road again and doing some events and sharing some of the stuff that's been going through my head lately, but making it relatable from a real estate perspective. And so I'm looking forward to that, not just because of the content that I have built up, but also because you see people on the road you haven't seen, and you get a chance. This is so freaking corny, but you get a chance to kind of change lives. Like I remember being in the audiences as an agent, and I would hear people come through, and there was a certain charisma or a certain way they talked, or a certain that I was just like radar, like, holy crap, that's my dude. Like that's, whatever. And the idea that you even have some semblance of an opportunity to do that, it's a really cool thing. That as much as we complain about the road and everything else, it's an opportunity that almost nobody ever will have in their life. Like percentage wise, like almost nobody gets to do that. And so that's a really cool thing. We're looking forward to that.
Although I don't list or sell properties or never have done, I've always enjoyed conferences. I'm like plugging in and listening to the room.
Yeah.
Seeing what's like latest and greatest. But what's crazy? Like I was just in an office down south, Berkshire Hathaway office, and they were talking about a top producing event, and they were talking about another event they had this year, and there was an agent there. She's a top producer. She doesn't go to any conferences.
That's not abnormal, by the way.
And it's super. I know it's not abnormal, but that is a huge investment that they're completely missing out on. Like, I don't even sell property. I was telling the client today that we're talking to, I'm pretty sure, and you say this too, that you probably would dominate everyone still in the industry, like everyone, just because of things they don't implement.
I don't doubt that, by the way. Right? And by the way, not just what they don't implement, the structure. Those agents who are the top whatever, go talk to them about their life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they don't understand leverage. When you look at a teeter-totter, think about it. When you're on a teeter-totter, the teeter-totter is in the middle. Maybe I'll talk about this at the advance. But you got that little spot in the middle, and the teeter-totter goes back and forth, right? And pretty evenly on both sides, you can pull up, pull down, right? But if you start moving that center equilibrium to one side, way over, right? So now you've got this much space on one side and this much on the other. Guess how difficult it is to lift that thing up on the small side. You know why? No leverage.
Yeah.
All the leverage was now created on the other side. And this is where, like, yeah, they don't go to whatever. This is what I call too busy to ever be productive.
Yeah.
That, oh, they're successful. Well, are you? Because what's success? I had a call, you know this. Again, I'm not going to name any names. I had a CEO of a major company in this industry call me the other day, right? And she's like, Jared, our number one agent in our company that does, $200+ million a year in volume. She needs help. She needs, a coach. What do we do? I'm having this conversation. And I said to her, let me guess. And I ran down the profile. She's like this. She's a control freak. She has a couple admins but she doesn't want to call it a team, because she doesn't believe in that. She's still up till the middle of the night every night answering emails, even though she has admins, because she won't empower her admins to actually do anything. But I go right down the line and she's laughing and she's like, yeah, that pretty much hits the mark. That's it, because top agents are like goth kids in high school. They all dress goth because they want to be different and they think they're different, and yet they still dress like every other one of their friends in their pack. They're all dressed in goth. They're all exactly the same. They're right. And so when you start to look at top agents who don't go to events, don't go to whatever, don't, whatever, and they're like, they all think their story is different, but it's not.
But on the other side too, you have agents that will look at your cost. What's your cost for your ticket?
I don't even know what we're at right now.
What is it?
How much is the ticket right now? JaredJamesToday.
$199. I don't know.
It's JaredJamesToday.com/advance.
They look at that and they'll say, "Oh, it's too expensive." But they look at that because it's
and then they'll buy a ticket for $800, a plane ticket,
or it's based on their production versus like investing in it, so they could produce more. They could do more. There's a top agent out in Central California. She is the busiest person that I know. And she's been top producing agent.
Right now they're $299. $299. And I think they're going up soon. But yeah.
She invests in several coaches because every coach has something to offer her.
Yeah.
She goes to several events, like physically will go there. This is a top producing agent that doesn't have a team, doesn't even have an admin, she invests in her business, which makes her a top producing agent. She shows up.
Babe, you know what the importance is of events? You know the number one reason people go to events?
What?
Now the ego side of me would love to say, it's because JJ's there. You know what I mean?
That's why I go.
Thank you.
Just so you know.
Thank you. Me too.
And you get paid
to be there. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, that's not the number one reason. The number one reason is actually networking.
Oh.
And I'm going to go one step further with that. Yes, there is power in networking, right? And when you look at the people who come to our events, like you're talking all the way from the top team in the country to the top brokerage in the world to a brand new agent to a middle-aged woman trying to figure out how to create structure to whatever. It's all there, okay? But do you know what I think people don't pay enough attention to as far as like why these events are so important? It's just a freaking steam release. Like they just need a break. They need to get out, meet like-minded people who run the same crazy lives as them, who worry about the same things, who are afraid to post on social that they're not at home working 24 hours a day.
On a listing.
They need to go have one too many beers, dance like they haven't since they were 23, and just remember what life can be like and why you work so hard.
Yeah.
It's just the number of people who work so hard and don't know what for it blows my mind. What are you working to? The number one answer is for my children. I do this for my kids. I'm going to gag in my mouth. Like if that's like, do better. That's what I want to say when people say that. Do better. Duh. I tell people all the time that like the four things that I crave when I get home is I want to drive my own car. I want to shower my own shower. I want to sleep in my own bed, and I want to work out at my own gym. And you'll get those people, your kids? You didn't mention your kids? I want to be like, duh, Waldo. Like, duh. I didn't think I needed this. Yeah. Okay, we'll go 5. Of course I want to see my kids.
Yeah.
But that's a templated answer. Like it's a very templated
that's who you
answer.
Are. You're a dad.
Yeah. Like it's duh. Like we all do everything for our kids. You're a serial killer if you don't think like that. We all know that, right? But at the end of the day, as selfish as people are, some people need to learn to be selfish in the right ways again and be specific with it. Like, what do you work so hard for? You know,
and not feel bad about it.
Yeah. When was the last time you danced?
Yeah.
And just had fun and just, you know, like whatever, like it's okay. That's all right. Because, you know, too many people are going to wait until they're too old and they can't move and they can't talk and they can't, you know, whatever. And it's just like, it's like people who work their whole lives to finally travel, you know, when they can't see 4 feet in front of them anymore. And it's like, well, shouldn't you travel when you can tell where you are still, you know, like, why is everything a weight? You know, like, that's kind of like my thing is like, why is everything a weight? You can have it all. Is it tough? Yes, it is, you know, but the way you're doing things now is tough. Right. So it's like we say, choose your tough then. Like which one's it going to be? And an event is an amazing place to be able to learn, to have a tax write-off, you know, because, you know, it's going to be complete tax write-off, but to live life and have fun and meet friends and remember what life is, you know, outside of a cereal, you know, in the supermarket called life. Right?
I enjoy it. I always enjoy it. I try to plug into a lot of events just, and like I said, all it gives me is just like more industry knowledge. Like I don't refer, I don't sell nothing like, but it's just great to know what like-minded people are doing.
Yeah. You're a great connector. You're a great connector.
And so, anyways, I'm very excited. It's what, you're 2.5 months out.
Yeah, we're almost there, guys. Wow, you're gonna give me 2.5 months out. Dang.
Gotta lose that agenda.
Yeah. Good Lord. All right.
Anyway, super fun.
Questions.
Ooh,
you had questions you wanted to get to because I know, look, guys, we could go on like literally. Linda and I could talk for hours and hours. And by the way, we do every single day. But you know, we want to bring some kind of value to you guys. So we thought that story about what was going on and what that built, and from an entrepreneurial perspective, what we're doing, we thought you guys would have interest in that. You know, it's kind of cool to see that's what's happening behind the scenes. That's the cool thing about podcasts now, is that you can kind of see and hear the real life of what's really going on every day.
It might light a fire for someone that wanted to do something in entrepreneurship or, you know, whatever. But
we want to bring you value. And so you had brought up that you wanted to ask some questions. So
Jared and I have a list of like ongoing things that we want to talk about.
Right? I don't have answers to these yet, by the way, these questions you're about to ask. So this is going to be on the spot.
1, 2, 3. Okay. So
let's hear
number 1. And Tom, you could totally jump in on this. Do you believe that the thing you give most to the world, whether it's time, influence, etc., is what we personally need the most and are lacking of? So what I give to the world, do you think it's because we ourselves are lacking that?
Oh, I think that's so specific. Okay, here's where I'm going to agree and disagree.
I don't even have an answer yet.
I disagree with the ing.
Lacking?
So I disagree with the ing of that. Okay, so I agree with the sentiment of that question, and I'm processing this as we're talking right now. I don't even know yet. Okay. I disagree with the ing. I feel like I'm about to start rapping. So here's what I mean by that. Like the ing of that. Let's go children again.
Okay, go for it.
I met my father when I was 12. Obviously did not have an amazing relationship, did not learn things did not get quality time, did not get any of that, right? So what do I now do with my children? All of those things, right? I don't lack those now. I don't need those now, but I learned what was needed and decided to give that to them.
Okay.
So I disagree with the ing.
That's good.
What do you think?
I think like we mentioned earlier, there's some drivers, right? Things that I am.
Hold on. Why am I seeing you acting?
Whatever. Over here. I was like, what the heck? Is there like
dying or dead?
Dying.
Is it? And we don't have another one, or do we?
Don't.
Okay. How much time does it have?
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's just keep going. All right. Let us know what it does.
Right now I'm on this one because it's flashing like charge the battery.
All right. Well, give us a cutoff. Guys, you're going to hear all that too. So I saw him doing that. So go ahead.
I was like, what the heck? I got distracted.
I saw you look over and I'm like, what the heck's going on right now?
We talked about drivers. I think it could be a motivator and driver. Like what I do best might be something that I was lacking in. And it could be underlining like childhood.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Of course. Some stuff, of course.
And so like, I think of that even when you were saying what you were just saying about your father, you know, think what we're good at. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it teaches us what's needed, it teaches us what's necessary, right?
But I also feel like it's because, like I said, that it's probably, it stems from something.
Always.
Whether positive or negative, it doesn't matter.
100%,
it could be positive or negative.
Yeah.
But it stems from something and is why we do
it.
I don't know if it's all 100% of the time, but there you go.
I'm with you.
I heard it.
Yep. We will now stay on this one. Okay. So that's my answer. That's your answer. What do you got next?
Next. Okay. Would you say that every good thing in life comes at a cost?
Of course.
Positive or negative?
That's an easy one.
Okay.
Everything comes with a cost.
Yeah.
I'll give me an example and I'll tell you the cost. Okay. Look at my career.
Oh, time.
Look at my career.
Yeah.
All I get is people who are on the road, especially young agents. Oh, I want to do what you do. I want to be you. I want to go do whatever, whatever. Or people when they were in the real estate, I want to be a top producer. I want to be a this. I want to be a whatever. I mean, I went years. I should probably bring this back. I went years on the road looking at the audience and saying, many of you need to stop saying you want to be the top agent in your area. What you need to be is you need to take stock of your life and what it costs to do whatever it is you want to do. And then you need to make the decision to be number 9 because you want to be number 9, but you want to coach your kid's soccer team. You want to be number 12, but you want to be able to work out twice a day, do whatever. You got to take stock of it all, because to be number 1 comes with a cost, right? That you may not only not be willing, but shouldn't be willing, because it's not going to fulfill you. What I do now, the travel, the whatever, I can count the cost in a million different ways, not only from a lifestyle, family, friends, but also physically. Like when I'm jumping place to place, I mean, remember when I was talking to you when I was going country to country? Yeah. I was looking to see if the plane was a roll down window so I could jump out. Like, I'm just like, I'm done. Oh, first world problems. I'm in a lay down bed on a plane that's made for a 4'8" person. Yeah. So I'm just like, my back hurts. This is terrible. Like, everything, there's a cost. Yeah. Everything. I believe that. What do you? No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, absolutely agree. I don't even know how you debate the other way. I would be curious to hear the other side. I don't even know how you would. I don't even know how. Specifically, it said every good thing, but I think everything. I mean, like, it is everything. Babe, we went through divorces. I know. Stay with, don't stay with. Cost either way. Right? Yeah. Right? Like, isn't that what people do all the time? Is they evaluate the cost and then they make a decision, just like when purchasing items. Yeah. Right. So when someone goes through a relationship breakup, they evaluate the cost of being in this, staying in this for the next 50 years. And then they evaluate the cost of not being in this. And then what does that mean for everyone else around me? What does that mean for, what is that? It's always a cost benefit analysis, like always, right? I honestly, I'm usually very, me, like I'm very fair weather. Like not fair weather. I'm very like, I can play both sides. Devil's advocate, yeah. Yeah, I can play both sides very easy on just about any topic. This one, I'm not even sure how you play the other side. I don't know either. There's a cost to everything. And I think a lot of people's biggest mistake is that although they would agree with that sentiment, they don't think it when they're going through stuff. And people, nor probably they don't want to admit it. People don't weigh the cost. Yeah. I want to be number 1. What's the cost? I want to get into speaking. What is the cost? If I want to quit my job, become an entrepreneur. What's the cost? I want to stop being an entrepreneur. I want to get a job. What's the cost? I want to get into this relationship. What's the cost? Yeah. I want to be in a friendship. All of it. We can go a lot of different ways. Like, totally. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's okay. If you disagree, by the way, with these questions we're asking, I would love in the comments for you to kind of. I would. If someone has an opposing view here that doesn't have a cat as their profile picture. If somebody has an opposing view here who doesn't have a cat as their profile picture, I'd love to hear from you. And by the way, I just don't listen to anybody who has you're not a real person. Like, I want a face. I want to know I'm talking to a person. I'm not talking about some bot on the internet, right? I want to know that would be good to hear. What's the opposing view? All right. Okay, the other one I have Last but not least, before we get happy out.
I really want to hear this. Do you ever just give up on someone?
I'm ready for another. You ready for this one? This one's not difficult either.
You're gonna say yes.
Yuppers.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the deal.
Give like analogy. Like I want to think of mine, but yeah.
Okay, we don't like certain words. So we do not like the word give up. Okay. It seems very anti-Rocky. It doesn't seem like something we should be saying. But here's why I said yes to that. Well, there's a few reasons. You can't care about someone more than they care about themselves, right? And again, there is a cost. So to not give up on somebody in certain situations, what is the cost? Some people allow themselves and everyone around them to perish, or at least to suffer, because they won't get rid of some bad cargo. It's what was the Marvel movie where you had the girl, you had the arrow guy. My son is gonna hate me for this right now that I don't remember this. Who's the arrow guy?
I don't know.
Okay, well, you guys know what I mean. He's
arrow guy.
The arrow guy, and then you have the girl, the Russian girl.
We call a friend. Why you do that?
I'm not sure. And then like they had that situation where somebody had to die.
Right now,
and they're hanging off. Oh, they're hanging off. Yes, they're hanging off the edge, and they're trying, and like he's holding on to her hand, and he's like, no. And the whole point was that if he didn't give up on her, he didn't let her fall.
Don't let go.
Oh, please. You mean with that board big enough for 10 people to be on, but she couldn't make room? That, by the way, that board was the microcosm for every bed in America. Okay. So woman just spreads out, kicks the guy off the side. But anyway, the point is that if he did not let go of her hand and let her die in the idea of like Marvel at this time, then all of civilization was going to perish, right? So they had to give up on that person in order for everybody else.
Yes.
And so what I mean by that, although we're talking about Marvel and we're talking about, the metaphor still lives, which is that you can't love somebody, you can't care about somebody more than they care about themselves, and you can't hold on to people at the peril of everybody else. And we have had people even in the company before where we had to let them go, or we had to whatever, and there were people that were like, oh, why would you do that? They're going through this, they're doing whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but in the meantime, they are coming in here and they're making everyone else miserable.
Okay, so
we can't allow that.
I agree to a point.
Is there a but coming? Because I never believe anything before the but.
I agree to a point. So like there's the
Did you just say so instead of but? That is a Linda move, by the way. She doesn't want to give in to what you said. So she'll go, she's been here. You saw her look away. She's going, she goes, I'm not saying but. So.
No, Linda's going to say but.
Yeah. Okay. Did you see her look off though? She was thinking going, how do I not say but? How do I not say but? And then she's like, so.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
I feel like, okay, a team analogy, right? We could do coach analogy, whatever. Your coach, their student and coach. I look at it as like, let's take your son's game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There's a player on the team that always keeps it to himself, and I feel
doesn't pass, guys.
Doesn't pass, right? But I think as like coaches or leaders or mentors, our job is to do an assist every time. Our job isn't to score. Like they need to score. Okay. Right. But it's only at some point you're going to continue to pass the ball. And so if you're not going to score, I'm no longer going to pass it. And so there's a point to where it's kind of give up, but until you show up. If you're ready to show up and play, right, and do the effort and the training that I'm teaching you and the coach that I'm putting in, then great. But I was going to ask you
That's them caring about themselves.
I was going to ask about this though. Let's say they show up 5 months later.
Mm-hmm.
How is it difficult for you to be like, great, let's go ahead and sit down and let me coach again with all the effort and energy that I'm going to give you again? Or is it more difficult for you because of the lack of interest they've had, the lack of every single assist they don't even do anything with? They let go. They don't pass.
If you're asking if I believe in second chances, of course I do. Yeah. I absolutely believe in second chances. But sometimes those second chances happen at other places.
So do you give up and then you leave the door open by saying, whenever you're ready to show up, show up?
Depends.
Or do you give up on them by saying no?
If I've given up on you, then I'm not saying whenever you're ready, because they were still ready. I'm giving up on you.
So it really, what was that?
So like the analogy you just used, do you tell them whenever you're ready? Like whenever well, they think they're ready. That's why I'm giving up on them. They didn't give up on me. I gave up on them. So it's not a matter of them coming back and being like, I'm ready now. They were already ready. I'm the one saying to you.
It's more like when you're ready to listen to what I have to.
Correct. I'm always 100%. But again,
there's a but. See, he says but.
Yes. Oh, no, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just true. But in that situation, again, for the sake of everyone involved, including myself, we're going to have a short fuse here. Like there's going to be a very quick, because I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste the time, because when I waste my time, I don't just affect myself, I affect everybody.
Correct.
Because that's time I could be giving towards someone else. You have to remember that energy and time and all of these things, they're not a one-sided thing. There are two, there's always another involved.
And that's why I use the analogy of soccer.
So when you do something to me, you don't just do it to me. When you take from me, you don't just take from me, you take from my ability to give to whoever's actually going to use that. Yeah. And so I have to think like that. I really do. And I don't enjoy that. I don't, whatever. But back to the point of the question, what was it? Would you give up, or what was it? What was the actual question?
Do you ever just give up on someone?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough way to say it, but abso-freaking-lutely, you have to learn how to do that. You have to, for the sake of themselves and for the sake of everyone else.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's been times where I've said, "Hey, it's not even giving up on them. It's the reality." I actually, what I call that, compassionate leadership.
You're very compassionate. You come from a different standpoint than me.
This position is not for you. Like, if I allow you to sit in this role, it's actually doing a disservice. Like,
Tom, how many times have I said that to you? I'm like, we're doing them no good by letting them be here. They don't. Not you know what I'm saying. It's like
I don't know.
No. Like when we let people go, I'm like, it's not right for them. They're not getting where they need to be because they're here.
Just had that conversation via email with a staff person.
Yeah.
And I call it compassionate leadership. And it's the truth. Yeah. Like being honest with them. I've had sales guys that you're just not cut in sales.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care how much you love building relationships.
Yeah.
It's not working out.
It's not for you. And as long as you're here, you're not going to find what you're great at.
And I want them to grow as a person. So I know your strong suits are this, definitely not this. So let's put you in that. But like, if I don't do that, it's actually selfish of me not to share that.
Babe, I have a good story for this, because I feel like I must be getting old, because I'm like, I used to talk about this on stage, but it's absolutely true. Just to piggyback off of what you're asking the question here, the question, can you or should you? Parents give up on their drug addict kids because they know that they have to. So that's like the greatest love there is. So we know that it exists and it should. But you just made a point that was a really good point, that something I used to talk about. When I made the switch, we'll end with this because we got to get to happy hour. It's important stuff. When I made the switch from getting on stage and looking like I was in my father's oversized suit. I used to go dress like that, and it was absurd. And every time I do an event, I'd have a rash on my neck because it was the only time I put a tie on. When I finally made the decision and I said, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, is this whatever? I'm going to go and be 100% who I am. And I'm either going to be enough or I'm not. And when I say I'm either going to be enough or I'm not, I don't mean overall, like, oh, I'm not enough, I'm going to go jump off a bridge. I don't mean like that. I mean, am I enough? Am I made for this? Or am I chasing something that I don't belong in just because of ego or, whatever it is? And so I'm going to go be 100% myself. I'm going to dress like I want to dress. I'm going to talk like I want to talk. I'm going to 100% be myself. And my gifts and my attributes and my personality and everything is either going to fit that, which is awesome, and I'm going to take off and I'm going to, or where most people would have thought this was a bad thing, I'm not going to be enough for this. Now, a lot of people would hear that and go, oh my God, that's terrible to say, that's whatever. But here's how I looked at it. If I'm not made for this, if my natural abilities don't translate to an audience and they don't react and my head can't work a certain way to make it, say things and do things and whatever, at least I'm not wasting the next 5 years of my life trying to be something that I wasn't created to be.
Yeah.
At least I can find out right now. Nope. Now let's find my lane. What is that lane? But I can't find that lane by acting like something or trying to make up for something or trying to. And so it would have been smart for me to give up if because not because I'm giving up, but just like it's not what I'm made to do. It's not what I'm right. And so that came from that kind of a thing where it's like, I'm either made for this and whatever, or I got to give this up.
Yeah.
And I got to go, whatever. And it's actually in everybody's best interest because I'm never going to be as happy doing something I wasn't made to do. And maybe that's how I find the thing I am made to do, because I kept trying this and it didn't work and I didn't act. But it was just who I find the thing I'm great at. Luckily, it worked out. But if not, wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world if I found that out rather than spending 5 years trying to be something I wasn't.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Absolutely.
Cool. You have any final words or?
I'll see you at the advance. Everybody.
Will you?
I think this is great. I'm glad that it's announced first up, and so
FYRSTUP. Guys, we keep mentioning the advance. So again, guys, jaredjamestoday.com/advance, guys. Not advance, guys. jaredjamestoday.com/advance. Go get your tickets, get your whole brokerage, your team, your admins, your everybody, guys. It's going to be well worth it. Going to be amazing this year, guys. We've got an amazing lineup, and I don't want to do the whole we're bringing the thunder. We're bringing amazing content. It's going to be real. I got a lot of things I'm going to talk about, from a skill set all the way down to a mindset that I've learned over the years and gone through, and whatever. And so it's going to be really good. Of course, we'll have some laughs. As long as you're there, if you're the only one laughing, we'll have some laughs. We'll have those things, and then we'll have some fun as well. But we love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Always fun.
And we will see you on the next episode. Like Dr. Dre. Was that Dr. Dre? To the next. No, that's Snoop Dogg.
I don't know.
The next episode.
I don't
Whatever it is.
See ya.
West
Bye.
Coast.
Talk about showing your age.
You feel good about yourself right now?
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave that in. Let everybody hear that.